recently happened to me, that I had ordered some shoes. They were sent to my daughter, and then she brought them to India when she met me in India. And when I opened it up, it wasn't what I wanted. It was what I ordered, but it wasn't what it looked like. You know? They disappointed me. Anyway, I gave them to my granddaughter. She liked them. Because once I got them in India, I couldn't return them. But sometimes it happens, right? You get something and you plan for it. You get knowledge. So I got some knowledge. I was researching. I did some activities. I had some hopes. And I got it, and it didn't give me sukham, didn't give me happiness. And sometimes something gives you happiness, but it doesn't last. After some time, it doesn't give you any happiness anymore. It happens especially in relationships. People think this relationship is going to be perfect, and then after a few years they say, well, it's really not so perfect. Or it happens with jobs. I met a girl like this recently. She studied to be a lawyer. She worked really, really hard, a lot of knowledge, a lot of activities, a lot of hopes. And at first she really enjoyed it, and then after a couple of years she said, I really don't like being a lawyer. And she asked me, so what should I do? I already invested 10 years of my life. And I said, I don't know, you want to throw good money after bad? So what is success? Success would mean that we achieved our hopes, we achieved the results of our activities, we got the knowledge that we wanted, and all those things gave us happiness. And they gave us an ultimate destination, and a happiness that endured. That would be success. What's the use of getting to something, and it's not what you wanted, or it doesn't last? How is that successful? Maybe it looks successful to other people, and you can fool everybody else. Other people can come and you say, see my beautiful house? We were at a really nice house yesterday. See my beautiful house? See my nice car? My indoor swimming pool? Or my several nice cars, one Jaguar, one BMW, one Mercedes. My attractive spouse, my attractive, intelligent children, my big career, all my diplomas on the wall. So somebody else might be impressed and say, oh yes, you must be successful. But if you're not feeling unlimited happiness, how is it successful? And I think if we're honest, we'll admit we're not feeling unlimited happiness. Krishna talks about it in the 6th chapter. The kind of happiness that the soul is wanting. See if I can find it quickly. Okay. He says, boundless transcendental happiness without any limit. Where's that? For the Sanskrit. Sima, it doesn't have a border. It doesn't have any border on it. So generally, even if we achieve our goals and our activities and our knowledge, our happiness is bordered. Have you noticed that? Our happiness has a border?
Limited.
It's limited. Yeah. It has a beginning and an end. Which Krishna also says, wise people don't delight in happiness that has a beginning and an end.
It will last.
We want happiness that will last. And we want not only happiness that will last, but happiness that will keep getting better. And that's interesting. And one problem with most of our happiness is it gets kind of boring after a while. The same thing after a while, it's just like, it's boring. So in these 2 verses, Krishna gives a clue why this is happening to us, why we're not achieving success. And his assessment is a little difficult to bear. He says, Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva. If we're not achieving success, then that means that we must be taking shelter, Ashrita, we must be taking shelter, Prakriti Mohini, of the deluding potency that attracts, well, not very nice people, Rakshasim, Asurim. And we like to think of ourselves as very sophisticated and wonderful people. But those who take shelter of delusion, They're not acting in a way that's really nice. What does this mean, to take shelter of illusion? It means to think something that's not. That's what illusion means, something that's not. Like you go to a fun house and you have the mirror and it shows you as really skinny when you're actually fat, or really fat when you're skinny. Or you seen one of those mirrors? Everybody's seen it. Or you have a really long neck like a giraffe. It's illusion. The program last night, one of my friends had this really long hair, and I'm thinking, I said, "Is that your hair?" She said, "Yeah, I paid for it." So it's not what it appears to be. Right? That's illusion. It's something, but it's not what it appears to be. So one who takes shelter of illusion, they become like a Rakshasa, an Asurin, and all success is finished. There's no Paramgatim. There's no ultimate destination. There's no happiness. Everything becomes baffled. Well, that makes sense, right? If you're taking shelter of illusion, then doesn't it make sense that everything you want will become baffled? Isn't that logical? If I'm trying to eat an apple that's not a real apple, then it's just reasonable that I won't feel satisfied eating an illusion apple. Doesn't that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
It's logical. So if one takes shelter of illusion, one becomes bewildered and everything becomes baffled. And it's interesting that in the 16th chapter, Krishna is saying specifically that taking shelter of illusion means not following the scriptures.